Okay, it's Ken, and I'm taking a walk down this tree-lined street, and because the trees are not a continuous canopy, you can see there are going to be bright spots. So I don't know how that's going to look on the video. I think it's going to require that the camera make some quick adjustments, and we'll see. In any case, I decided to point in the direction where I'm going instead of aiming at my face today, but it's a day when I've been thinking a little bit more about impatience and how the rest of my day went yesterday. In the afternoon, I finally decided that my impatience, like I think I mentioned on the video, I had reached the point of me feeling a little ticked off, vexed. And I realized after I thought about it, after I'd already done the video, that my impatience was actually stemming from frustration that I wasn't able to accomplish something that I wanted, and partly it was due to my actually forgetting the sequence that I was engaged in when I first set up that YouTube channel. But most simply, it was an absence of really clear, lucid instructions, and I realized how much I enjoy working online when things are done exceedingly clear, where the instructions are really lucid and you're able to follow them without scratching your head and having to read it 3 times or 4. And it's also a shame that that's a bit rare, that things are really, really clear. There are, of course, companies that do a tremendous job. I happen to think that Apple does a good job making things usually pretty clear, but actually they're running into a few difficulties with their Lion version of OS X, OS X, and it's because they've got a lot of complexity, and I think that's partly why they announced that they're coming up with yet a new version. Another version of Lion, Mountain Lion, coming up. But back to the point, it was confusing to read the Google instructions because Google's hooked up with YouTube, which is hooked up with Google Analytics, which is hooked up with Chrome, and you're supposed to be all logged into all those things at the same time, and then it's just not that clear what you're supposed to do. I mean, what I finally did was I put out an alert to people on one of those kinds of mastermind sites, one of those group Facebook sites, and actually in 5 minutes I had 3 extremely lucid descriptions of what to do. And it was the first person who said, look, I'm not a tech person at all, but what about this and what about that? And that person reminded me that there was this whole separate password and so on. And I was able to recover that information, and then the instructions that the others gave on the site were very, very useful. So, patience, life teaches us patience, that's for sure. And there's just no getting around that life's going to do that. Hi, how are you? Can I take a video of you? And so this is the way it goes, and it's good to learn patience, but I think it's good also to remain demanding in life, that things be done excellently, and to look for things that are done excellently, because if you settle for what is the base average, by definition your life is going to be mediocre. So that's why any large producer of anything from cow's milk to cheese to butter, and I'm mentioning foods, but now it could be products, clothing, things that are done either exceptionally well with great attention to detail, or and typically in smaller quantities, or done in great quantities. The greater the quantity of people being served, the more homogenized the product is going to be. So people think they like it, that they can count on going to this chain or that chain for a restaurant meal, but in fact it absolutely ensures that the taste has been diluted down to something that would be unobjectionable to masses of people And I remember I once knew somebody who said that they loved McDonald's, and you asked them why, and they said because the hamburgers are warm and squishy. Wow. Warm and squishy won a vote. Well, I think you can ask for more than temperature and a squishy texture in your mouth when you want food. And that's been the last 40 years. There's been a revolution in food, and restaurant food is no longer what it was, and elite dining is no longer what it was, and it's because people started demanding more. And there are pioneers who were among those who began that. What is it that you would like to pioneer in and become more demanding about? It could be your own life, but you may have a cause that you want to pursue, and a certain level of being impatient with things not being done well, or wanting to introduce something that you've learned about on some travel or some elsewhere kind of experiences that you've had. Those can be dynamite. Those were what prompted Alice Waters, who was a school teacher, a Montessori teacher, to decide to open a cafe for friends when she'd spent a summer, I think, maybe a whole year, in the south of France. And that cafe became Chez Panisse, which pioneered a food revolution on the West Coast. And other people have done the same thing by simply being influenced and energized and having their interest piqued in doing something really well. So look for experiences in life that provide you really a moment worth cherishing rather than just another day. Don't fuel yourself. Feed yourself at many levels, and don't put out work that is aimed only at this niche or that, or is good enough, or is going to do the job. Aspire to more, and you become inspired. If you aspire to more, you become inspired. Get inspired by aspiring to more, and enjoy your life more, and you'll see things for you take off. And it's worth living a life that's got adventure, that's got excellence, and where you personally are producing the best you can do. Because then at the close of the day, you can close the book on a day during which you did wonderful things. You did things as well as you could do them, and you have a deep sense of satisfaction for having had that experience. Okay, I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. This was day 38 in my YouTube 90-day challenge, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.